What's up, good people? You know your man is back with another great episode. And guess what, man? Some great things that are happening. Of course, happy Juneteenth. Hope you guys had a wonderful time all across the country celebrating Juneteenth everywhere. Yes, it was fantastic and great. Great week celebration that we had. Make sure that you continue to tap in, tune in to all of the great conversations that we be having. And guess what? We have another great show for you. Real quick, couple of things that are happening. Boom. Tomorrow, 6:30. Bam, having a great conversation, an empowerment conversation with my brother Larry Winters. We'll be talking about some empowerment topics, some things that would be enlightening as a from a brother conversation perspective. So I'll be on this platform discussing brotherhood and how we can empower each other tomorrow, 6:30, right on Zoom, man. Listen, we'll have the links and stuff provided for you to be able to tap in and tune in to that conversation. Is going to be great. Again, I'll have those links in this chat as well for you guys, but I'll also be uploading the flyer and the links either tonight or tomorrow morning with the official links and everything for you guys to be able to join the conversation. Also, got some free tickets that's happening tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at the Jazz Spot, 8 p.m. to 11 having R&B Bingo. R&B Bingo going down. DJ Ashby is going to be on the one and twos. Your boy, the one and only Mr. Patrick Jackson, the game changer, will be hosting tomorrow night at the Jazz Spot, 1410 Wabamo. Have some free tickets for you guys. All you have to do is get in the comments. Go ahead and say hello in the comments to your boy, and you'll be able to win some free tickets. Win some free tickets. That's right. You get to win some free tickets, not only to R&B Go that is happening tomorrow night, not only to R&B Go that's happening tomorrow night, but also the Grown and Sexy Comedy Explosion that is happening July 19th. That's right, at Legends, July 19th at Legends. That is being put on by C Mac Productions, man. I'll be highlighting this again a little bit later on where you guys can win some free tickets again. Just say hello. Go ahead and say something in the comments, and then make sure that you go ahead and share so that somebody else can know and get involved in the conversation as we dive into some of these topics. So again, man, it's going to be a great conversation. Stay locked into all of these great things that are happening over the weekend. We appreciate y'all continuing to tune in and have some great discussion. Be right back. Hey, what's happening, good people? We back at it one more time. About to get it in, man. It's going to be another great conversation, another great discussion. Hopefully that you're tuning in, that you could be a part of this great conversation. Again, if you want to win some free tickets to R&B Bingo, that's happening tomorrow night at the Jazz Spot, go ahead and get in those comments. And then we also have some free tickets that are going to be happening later on for the comedy show that's going to be going down July the 7th. So make sure y'all stay locked in with us, man. We always got some great giveaways for you, man. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Chi-Town cutie, giving it to you straight, no chaser. I'm ready for today. Let's go. We have some great topics, and I am so excited to get started.
Listen, we got some good conversation. Now, first off, We got Unc in the building. Unc then said some words that we trying to understand. So so it's gonna be a very interesting point of discussion as we start this particular conversation. Now, he said some things. Now, you tell me what he said as we are at the top of the show. You tell me what he said. I don't know what he said.
I
I
don't
may
either.
be trying to say, but we gonna play the video. Don't mind the cussing, you know what I mean? Bypass that. I usually try to get stuff that don't have no cuss words and stuff in it, all that type of stuff. But yeah, I want y'all to just check it out. Check it out.
We had a problem last time. I was getting my birth certificate. Now guess what, motherfucker? I'm finna get my social security certificate. Now, motherfucker. Yeah. Whatever it is, I'm gonna get it. Yeah. I got that. I bet you can't prove you got your birth certificate and your social security certificate.
Wait, what?
What he got? What paperwork he got? What
He got his social specificist, social specificist, birth certificates and social specificist.
Where they get that at? Where you get? I'm trying to figure out where you supposed to sign up to get that type of paperwork.
Oh, he's serious though. He's serious. What city is this? Does it say?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know what city?
I don't know what. Yeah, you know, he got looks like so. It sounds like he's from the South. He definitely sounds like he's a Southern gentleman.
Birth certificates.
Yeah, I don't know. He was trying. He gave a good effort, but the funny part, he doubled back though. I thought he was just gonna give up, but he came back and emphasized exactly what he was talking about.
Motherfucker. So we had a problem last time. I was getting my birth certificate. Now guess what, motherfucker? I'm finna get my social security certificate. Now, motherfucker. Yeah. Whatever it is, I'm gonna get it.
Whatever.
Yeah. I got that. I bet you can't prove you got your birth certificate and your social security certificate. Motherfucker.
And he said it the same. He did not change the way he said it. So that's what he thinks it is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I need them to follow him into the office and have him ask for it. I want to see when he goes into the offices to get those birth certificates. I want to see him say that and get the reaction of the workers. Now that would be fun.
Yeah, when he go in there, ask the question, is like, what is he gonna be saying? What is when you gonna ask him the question? What is he gonna be saying when you ask him that question, right?
What kind of identification do you need? A social security certificate and birth certificate, right? We don't know. We don't know how.
Hey, we proud that he got his.
Right.
You know, obviously it's been probably a struggle. He probably had some problems, some issues. Folks wasn't getting him his information and him being able to line himself up to get his stuff.
They didn't understand what he was asking for. He's probably been trying to get this for 5 years.
He got his stuff now. You can't tell him nothing.
They didn't know.
He got it now. You can't tell that man nothing. You hear me? He was showing. He was pulling up. He was showing them people he was pulling up. He wasn't playing with y'all. He was pulling up. He was riding. He was rolling. You can't tell nothing. You know what I mean?
His gold chain.
Yeah, got it. Listen, he chilling. He having a good time.
He going out tonight too to celebrate.
Oh yeah. He going to celebrate.
Where you think he gonna go and celebrate?
Shoot, man. Look like he probably gonna go to the, you know. I don't know. Maybe chill. He like to do that's gonna go on his porch with the fellas. Got a little Drake on the porch. Got his TV propped up out there.
A little couch out there on the back.
Yeah, a little couch out there. You know, it look like he's from the South. So
yeah, they all celebrate.
He down
That's
south. So he sound like that. What he sound like. They could probably correct me if I'm wrong. but he sounded like he's a Southern brother that's doing this thing.
That's good for him.
That is doing his thing.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, congratulations to him, man. Definitely a huge congratulations. Sometimes that's not an easy thing for people to get. You know, people getting their own, you know, getting their paperwork and stuff together. It is not the easiest thing in the world to do, because now he done got his, and hopefully he can help his other friends and other folks that may not have their paperwork together.
Yeah. They're gonna need to learn how to say it though.
And it sound like he sounded like he was bragging.
He was
sound like he was bragging. So he was bragging a little bit, which is good. I should be bragging. Now before I go there, it was one more thing that I want to and we can keep talking about him for a second, but I need to pull it up before we go into the other topics now. She's been going viral. She went viral. Somebody local, okay? It was a local thing. I gotta find the video, okay? I got to find a video. I just thought about it right now. I was seeing the video earlier, and I should have brought it up, but I gotta find it. Somebody send me the link. The Stacey P video. That Snoop Dogg. She was at the funeral for Craig Hunter. Brother Craig Hunter. Now this video then went viral. She went up there and did her thing. Snoop Dogg then reposted it on his page, and so it went super viral. And it's been different reactions and topics to it. Let me see. It was sitting. I forgot somebody said.
I have not seen it.
Who has it? I know.
Can you transcribe it? Like, can you explain what happened? Or is it, is it?
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna find the video. Okay. I knew. Miss Hunter. I his sister. Yeah, I went to his sister page. Okay, I know she had. She posted it. Okay, let me try to pull it up here. Okay, let me. All right. Let me see. Here we go. All right, here we go. Booyah. Okay, here we go. This is Miss Stacey P at the funeral for brother Craig Hunter. This happened this past weekend. This happened this past weekend. So y'all check this. I did want to react to it because it was something that happened local and it went viral. So yeah, y'all check it out and then hear everybody's reaction. Now they're at whose church are they at? I'm trying to remember whose church they're at. But I know who's on the key, which is Timothy Crenshaw. Again, I'm very in tune and in touch with the church community. A lot of my brothers, fellow pastors and ministers. So seeing this is very interesting. So I'll play the video. I want y'all reaction to Miss Stacey P coming up, giving remarks. Here we go.
They told me it was family only, but Craig was my nigga. That was my brother, bro. Hey, when I started my first club in Bakersfield, Craig said, Stacey P, I'm going to give you the money. Make sure my name is on the flyer. And we did that. Craig Hunter, hey, bro, I love you. Bro. I don't even want to put you in the grave right now, Mike. But we gonna do this shit though on Eastside Mid-City crib.
All right. So what's your initial reaction to this particular video?
know, my initial reaction, I don't have a lot of background information on those two and their relationship, but you never know what you might get at a funeral. You know, funerals and weddings. We're gonna show up and we show out. And we do it. People, you know, she is probably, that's how she mourns. That she's just giving him his last respect. And that's how she does it. That's probably who she is. Big personality. So, you know, she's just gonna give him one last goodbye. And I think at a funeral, when you just really love that person, like she said, she didn't want to see him go. You don't care who's watching. You don't care what you're about to say. That's probably the relationship they had. That's probably how she spoke to him when he was alive. You know, I don't think she's doing anything different here on this platform than she would do if he was in with her. I think that's who she was. But I don't know. I don't have any background information. But I say if that's how she wants to mourn and that's how she says goodbye, you know, kudos to her.
Yeah, I thought it was extremely hilarious. I had two reactions. One was, and my concern was in only two places. One was the family okay with the remarks, because you got people with different mixed emotions and responses to what she did. And then my other concern was the church, how the church reacted to it, like how because they are inside of a church, you're not at a hall or anything like that. So being able to use, language and stuff like that. If the family wasn't concerned about it, if the church wasn't bothered by it, then it is nobody, it's no problem there, right? And so if those people aren't offended, if those two, because that's the crux of the thing. Like if the family is okay, like then there, people got up. You see people get up, like, hey, come on down.
Those were the ushers. See you saw? I was about to say that. See the ushers? No, those were the just like family.
No, that was family. Okay. Yeah, that was family.
I thought those were the ushers. Was family. Okay. They were kind of like.
No, that was family.
Come on down. Yeah. Come on. You said enough. Come on, you said enough. Yeah. There should be
I did
and respect, but
yeah. But I did hear some of the reactions from some of the family members. And the family members like, yo, they had that type of relationship. They wasn't bothered by it in any type of way. So yeah. So that they were still cool with whatever was going on and how it actually played out. But again, you get up there, you do your thing, you show, she has a viral moment. And then they also said that the pastor later on, huh?
You're freezing a little bit. You're frozen right now.
Oh, I'm froze?
Okay.
And then they said the pastor got up and said some things as well, and was, saying that, that was probably their relationship and things like that. So obviously, even from the family perspective, the church didn't have a huge reaction. Now, Tim on the keyboards, his reaction was like, oh, wait a minute. You can see his eyes kind of cut. Like, hey, wait.
I love us. I just love us so much. Right.
And so that was only my position was like, how was the church and how could this be a issue maybe down the road if people were having problems with it and things of that sort, if churches were having problems with that type of dynamic. But I think especially with our people, you kind of expect certain things. You gotta have some flavorful people in the family, people as friends. So every dynamic of families is different. So I think our folks, when we're dealing with us, we have a more of an understanding culturally that's going to be kind of part of how we move and how we do things. But yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
The funny part is, T, if you was at she was at Juneteenth, okay? Stacey P was at Juneteenth, and she was coming on the stage. So she was coming on the stage, like the man in different souls. So she's hilarious, man. I've known her for a little while.
Okay.
She's a funny character. But yeah, she was even at the funeral was that morning, and she came over to Juneteenth later on, and they was out there having a good time and stuff too. So I don't think she was anticipating on going viral from that.
That's
but,
right. That's right.
But she did.
More power to her, and condolences on your loss, Stacey P.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
I definitely
condolences. Yeah. And
she had told me about it.
Yeah.
And I would, of course, we definitely send our condolences to the Hunter family and all the friends and families. And it's been a few homegoing services and people that have lost loved ones here locally and people everywhere. Definitely if you have a loved one that you lost, our prayers are with you and your family.
Yes. Sure. Definitely.
Prayers up for you and your families.
Definitely.
Now here, going on to K Michelle. Okay, K Michelle had a sit down with Cam Newton. Okay. And there was the concept that she didn't hold back on the conversation with Cam Newton. And we kind of want to hear some of y'all's takes on how this conversation went with K Michelle and Cam Newton. All right, take a listen. All right, let me see.
My children do deserve a two-parent household. The reality is that's just not how it worked out. Now, the guilt in me feels that
you have a guilt.
When you hear it, there can be a guilt that happens. It's like you create broken homes. I can't do nothing about that now. But what I can do is try to make my wrongs right. I do that by showing up constantly. I have certain things that I do with my children specifically that's our thing.
But what about now and having new kids and creating, is that a goal of yours? And you don't have to answer to anybody.
No, ask the question that you're asking.
You want me to ask you a real question?
Please. Go there.
Okay. Well, I did see that your significant other now is having
another
one. Is your goal to create? I think everyone would like to know, is your goal right now to create a two-parent home for your child that you already have and your new child? Is that the goal? Because you do skate around that. From everything that I've watched, you do kind of skate around that. Is the goal? What is the ultimate goal right now in your dating and having kids?
Every situation that I've ever been in, I thought this was the last one.
Okay.
So to answer that question, do I plan on moving on after her? No. Okay. The plan has always been, even with the first, the second, the third, is nobody goes into a situation.
But you know, you've never said that. Like I've said, before I come somewhere, because I be attacked, I wanted to know what I was talking about when talking to you.
Oh, for sure.
You know, this is actually kind of the first time when you have said, my goal is to not have another significant other. You know, like really say that.
Well, let me say it.
Okay.
My goal has never been to have multiple significant others.
Okay.
It just worked out like that. So when I say my wrongs to the world or to the stereotype of what a household should be, it has always been screwed up.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What do you think a household should be?
I think there should be a male presence and a female presence in each household, because there are certain things that a man or a female should only or can learn specifically from a man.
Yeah.
And then there are certain things that can only be taught from a female.
All right. So what's your thoughts, T?
Well, I don't think anybody enters into a new relationship with an exit plan. The young lady they're speaking of is his, I don't want to say baby's mother, but she's the mother of his child. And I think he may have had another child in between there. Now he's having another child, a second child with that mother. But I don't, I love K. Michelle. You know how I feel about Cam Newton. I like the fact that, and you can see that she was a little nervous even asking him the question. And this time when I watched the video, I saw that she said she didn't want to get attacked. So that's interesting. That I watched a lot of his videos, and I think he really gave K. Michelle the truth. And I think in some cases he has sometimes been a little defensive with women, but I think with her, he was really, it was something different about this interview. And I appreciated his honesty with that. I don't think that he's going into these relationships with an exit plan. It's just happening. So I appreciate his honesty, and I appreciate K. Michelle asking the questions for, women who may be wondering the same things in their situations. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Yeah, I think he brought it from a couple perspectives. Like she did seem, and I think the attack part was when Dr. Bryant was on there. I might be able to have her on the show here soon as well. But Dr. Bryant went and talked to Cam, and when that went viral with that kind of discussion with her, some of the comments that she had said, of course, we were saying, well, you were making broken homes. This is where that conversation stemmed from. And there was 2 sides to it, right? There was a yin and yang to it. There were people that was on Dr. Bryant's side saying, yeah. There was people that was against us, like, hey, why are you attacking this man? He's a good father. Da, da, da. And so in that sense, it's very interesting. It's very interesting that she came in, trying to feel him out a little bit, trying to see if it was okay to ask the question, and then he kind of just gave her the green light. You're like, I'm not trying to pry too much. She seemed like she was trying to find out where that barrier was. Like, is it okay for us to have this conversation, or do you want to have it, just keep it where we already have it at? And so by him opening that door, her having that, I guess, question in her mind, she said that she did some back research, like, I was looking to see if did he ever really answer this question?
Right.
Did he like fully answer it? And she hadn't found anything of him fully saying, like, no, I want to be with the woman I'm with and have a family or whatever. But that's been the concept of what she was stating. And when most people it's the fact of the matter is what most people they try to get away from the realness, right? The realness of it, because one, speaking from a perspective, even with myself, like the statistic, the children upbringing is always better with 2-parent household, mother and father, and them being raised, right? My children aren't. So I could justify, am I a good dad? Yeah, I'm a good dad or whatever. But that still doesn't take away the fact that they're still in a broken home system. Although they have a great stepmom and they're still loved by everybody. Their mom is still loving them and all that type of stuff. They're still in 2 different households. So that's the concept of people saying a broken home. People don't really want to be identified with that. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. It's not ideal, right? Like that shouldn't be the ideal situation. And I think that's something that Cam emphasized, like, that was intention. It ended up happening that way, but that wasn't my intention of it being that way. but maybe I think we don't hear enough of this isn't the ideal situation that we would want even for our children, right? So
Right.
I would want them to, make sure that that they build it in the right way and so on and so forth. But the time those things aren't emphasized because it shows the flaw. It shows no one wants to be viewed in a negative light, right? Like that's the reality. Like no one wants to be viewed in a negative light. Oh yeah, you can be the best mom and you can be the best dad, but is the child still in the best scenario that has said of what it should be?
Right. Yeah.
And then you're making the best out of what you have, right? Of the situation that you're in, and everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation is totally different, and it can stem from a lot of different places. Go through some of these comments. OG Bobby Johnson said, "Cam, for your dad to be a pastor, you didn't learn anything from him." Dang, shots fired, man. Golly, dang, shots is fired. He also said, "Broken homes ain't nothing new." Now, it's
That's what I
nothing
was
new,
thinking. It's common
but it's
these
not.
days.
But it shouldn't be common, right? Like
Right.
it is common. Because I've made it I'm a part of the statistic of common, right? And I'm saying that it is, we have to say that that's not what we should desire, right?
Right.
That we, although it's not nothing new, we want it to not be the norm.
Do you
That's
think
not a
that
desire.
do you think people do you think people are fighting for relationships these days? Or is it just easy to say, whatever, you made me mad today, we're not together? Do you think that people are still fighting? Like, it seems like our parents fought. Our parents they stayed together just for the children. Do you think that that's the same mindset? And if not, what happened to that mindset, in your opinion?
Oh man, that's a good question too.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is what I think. I think if you look at data, most of the children aren't birthed in a actual union, in a relationship. That they're birthed out of casual sex and stuff like that. So there was no love, no commitment to the person when the child was formed.
Okay. Frozen. You're frozen, Patrick. So while Patrick's frozen, if anybody can share in the comments, what happened to fighting for relationships? Are we still fighting for our relationships these days? Just what's happened to that? If we could talk about that in the comments. And is it too easy to kind of get rid of people and replace people? Too many options.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. I was just asking a bunch of questions. You know what I added to my question that was interesting? Are there too many options with social media? Because now you can meet somebody from 2-3 states over. You no longer have to date within your area code. I can be flown out every weekend if I wanted to. Look, Bobby said frozen. I started asking a million questions when we were frozen. I kept saying frozen, frozen, right? So then it makes it easier to just get rid of the person you with because you have other options.
Yeah, I don't think too many. I think the options things is kind of overplayed. Like it's overplayed. It's option, but it's not a gang of options. Like when we say quality options or whatever the case may be, there's a lot of the Instagram models and people that are showing different things, but
They're not
far as
responding to you.
yeah, it's
they're
not
not
the quality
responding.
part. Yeah, the quality part is still like you're just looking at looks, right? It's still the substance part, and then the other part is like how many people want to be parents, how many people want to be fathers, how many people want to be mothers, right? So you're doing the act, but then the opportunity comes where you end up becoming a parent.
Right.
So, and it's not the intent of most people, I think, that really want to be parents, like literally want to be parents. Like, I don't think most people actually want to be parents. And they, but you end up doing the act that causes you to be a parent. And so, the options thing, yeah, that's there. But when you look at it, when you're saying that you're bringing a life into the world, are you bringing a life into the world with a committed person? And this is going to be a very controversial comment because
I knew one was coming.
Because
give it to us.
Right now, the women have all the power, so you could ultimately say that it's a woman's fault of so many children coming into the world. When you have the option, you have all the power is in the woman's hands to keep the child, to have the child, make sure whatever, you could tell the guy that he's supposed to do this and that, but ultimately the concept right now is her body, her choice, right? It's like all the autonomy, all the power is in that woman's hands to make those decisions. And the guy really has no say so. He's a part of the act, but he has no say so if the child comes into this world or not. She has the option.
I agree with you. I actually agree with you on that. We are responsible for being responsible for our bodies. We're responsible for bringing what we need to a situation to make sure that other situations do not happen. On the other hand, there are women. Oh, you got me drinking your juice because you know what I'm about to say. And I don't want to say this. I don't want to say this. Oh my gosh. But on the flip side, there are men as well who are playing games with women. But there are also women who want to have children with these men. Some are looking to parent with you. Some may not. Some they just want to have a child. And you are a good man that they can have a child with and responsible, right? And then there's the other woman or the other situation where we got together. I'm not going to say so that won't go viral. And that's the only part. A woman does not even know this man's last name or real name. I just know they call him man. Got with him at a party. He looks good. You don't know his name. You come up pregnant. He says, get rid of it. And you want to keep the baby. I think that's what you're talking about, right? In a way.
Yeah, definitely.
And if in that situation, unfortunately, it takes two people to make a baby, but it is kind of on the woman. So I do agree with you on that. I do agree with you. You have made a choice. You're making bad choices at that moment. And I don't think that, I don't know if it's right to complain so much about a man when you've made the choice. You're consistently making terrible choices. I think it's terrible to have to, I don't know. I think it's terrible to be in a lot of situations that I've seen. but women love making those choices. So I say, if you like it, I love it. People are
Read what Janae said.
Yeah, so Janae says that right, because people have baby fever, forgetting that those babies grow up. They're responsible for a human life. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's very, very true, Janae.
Then Bobby said, most thinking he will stay if they have a kid with him.
Right.
Man, that's crazy.
Right.
It's true, but it's still like, man, like that's the reason why. Like you don't want to bring it into the world with love of, like there's a connection, there's love, and then y'all are making that decision together,
right.
to not to trap or to have some hidden agenda type thing. Like that's wild to me, that the whole hidden agenda thing, that you're not, and that's where it's like then you're expecting that to be a phenomenal outcome. But
and they
of
get
course,
out letting him see the kid and all of that. We talked about that before.
woo,
You don't like me, so you're not seeing them, and you need to see me first. It's tough.
Yep.
It's a lot. And on the flip
It
side,
is.
men need to stop playing with women. Stop playing with women's emotions. Stop pretending that you love all these women, or having all these women think that they're the one and you're dating them and you're their soulmate. Just be real, and let a woman know, hey, I don't like you. I like everybody. I'm for the streets. So if something happens and we get caught up, you need to make a choice. You know what I mean? So, or a woman needs to just know that hey, because I don't mind. Do what you want to do. I love for a person to be who they are. But let me know, so I know.
Let me know who you are.
Yeah. Let me know you for the streets before I hang out with you. Because if I'm hanging out with you and you for the streets, I need to know what situations we're going into, because then people also will judge me, because they judge you based on
that. Yes, your
it's
people, your surroundings.
It's not always your character, and I love being around everybody, but you have to be careful. So just let me know. I love it, but I think men should be more upfront about who they are, and you'd be surprised that women do not mind. They just want to know the truth, so they know how they need to move. Right? Ain't nobody playing. Bobby said, "Ain't nobody playing with women too." Okay, Seattle, Bobby.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Playing with women. Y'all playing championship games.
Playing championship
Games.
But if you're gonna go down that road, right, at some point you're going to have this conversation on if you're the parenting part. Like, are we talking about parenting? Like that portion of what's going to happen instead of just having, because we're talking about you in your early 20s and all that type of stuff. With my spouse being a therapist, understanding that the brain isn't fully developed until you're about 26. A lot of the choices and stuff that you're making in that time frame, like all of us, we look back and be like, dang, that was a boneheaded thing. Why was I doing that? I was young. I was stupid, right? But you're classified as adult from 18, right? So you got a nice 7-8 years that your brain isn't fully developed and you're making choices and you're making decisions. And if you don't have sturdy guardrails from good parents, right? Putting up those guardrails and giving you some guidance, then you can, you don't have those. Some people, just like when you go bowling, you have those bumpers, when you rolling the ball. Those parents can be those bumpers. Some people ain't got those bumpers. They going straight in the gutter, right? They don't have nothing there to help guide them back into the straight, and that's unfortunate. Even with our kids, like we'll have those conversations. We'll have those conversations like, you know, this is the time for them to make those mistakes while they're young, like while we're here with them. And like, although we'll be upset and we'll be mad and stuff like that, and we sit back like, man, this is really the time for them to make these bad choices,
mistakes,
be able to sit down with them and be like, hey, you see what happened with that? Hey, you see what happened with that? You know, how do you think that you can do better at that or this, or making this decision? And, you know, making those type of conversations to where it's a learning process instead of it, you just boom, you ain't got no guardrails. You've done nothing that you can be guided on. And then boom, you start making all of these, you go left and start making these crazy decisions. And, you know, it can go all wrong. But the
and
part of just thinking about
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I thought you were winding up. I was gonna say, unfortunately, because of trauma and other situations that may happen, you know, the body is overdeveloping, the mind is still trying to catch up. Hi, Maria. And so unfortunately, that kind of helps with making those bad choices too. Because like if we're still talking about bowling, your mind feels like your whole body and your situation environment is like a gutter. It's like, I can't get out of this gutter. I can't get out of this because of choices that were forced upon me. So then you have that group of people who consistently make bad choices, and they may not even know that it's a bad choice. It's just the choices that they've had to make for survival. Yep. So, you know, that's why it's always good if you have an opportunity to parent people or to be a mentor to people. It's always good to, you never know how you're influencing somebody and changing their lives, you know, because then they will mix in with your children. And, you know, you want to make sure that your children can stand 10 toes down on the conversations that you've had with them when they're around people who have make nothing but bad choices because they just don't even know any better. They're a great person, but because of their life, they may just make bad choices. So yes, it's just always good to go back and, like you said, since we are talking about parenting, to, you know, be there for others. Especially, I love what you said. How you talk to your children. That's great, because they'll take that and they'll talk to their friends like that. So I love who you're creating in the home. You hope. You know,
you hope. You know, we are trying to figure out this parenting thing.
Yeah.
Especially with each kid. Like, each kid is different. They have different you know, ways to parent them like that. You know, that's the one thing that I'm learning too, is that, you know, each kid is just different. You know, it's just different. I remember talking to my mom and dad about that. You know, it's like all of us was different. You know, you don't understand it until you like in it, right? They can tell you about it. You know, you kind of have to understand. You hear what they're saying, but you don't understand what they're saying until you actually start. Yeah, you start going through it. It's like, oh yeah, each of us, my siblings with them were different. You know, we all knew that we were different, but how you parent us was a little bit different. And seeing them, you know, do different things along the way, even with each of us. So yeah, it's definitely a process. I think more of us should have more conversations about, especially when, you know, situations like this where we're talking about, you know, broken homes and, you know, people bringing that to the forefront to where it is a bad thing. You know, it's not a positive thing. It's not a positive thing. Like, and a lot of time, like I was saying earlier, when you're a part of it, you don't want to be a part of it, right? Like, you don't want to mention it as it being something negative. But yeah, it is something negative that we have to own up to, and saying, okay, if kids are that's the definition, they're in two separate households. They're in one household at one time, they're in another household at another time. And the parenting dynamics in both homes could be different. They could be similar. They could be extreme left and extreme right. And you know, you'll have co-parenting situation where the parent don't want the other parent to see the other child at all. You know, there's a fight to even just being able to see the child. So it's so many different dynamics that comes with that. And who's in the middle? Those kids,
The child.
right? That child, those children, the people that you're saying that you love is right there in the middle, being yin and yang in that situation. And having more conversations on that, I think is just important, just so we can make it more of a common practice of putting those things on the forefront. Like, where are they talking about parenting at, right? Where are they talking about the mistakes of parenting, the green lights, the red flag? You know, we say red flag, green flag. Like, what are those positive tropes that we should be doing as parents? What are some things that we shouldn't be doing, you know, as parents? And then, you know, what cues should we be looking at based off of the different children types and styles that they need to get the best out of them.
Yeah. And what about transitioning from parenting a child into parenting an adult? Like, my daughter's 21. Wow. I would love to go to this workshop you speak of. I really would. Because the dynamics change. They change a whole lot. I mean, she's 21. So, like, I've been out and I have people that I know will say, "Where's your daughter?" And I'm thinking, why would my daughter be here? Then I have to remember, I was saying, you know, my daughter's 21. So I'll go places and people I know or people that know her will say, "Oh, where's your daughter?" And I'm like, why would my daughter be here with me? And I have to think, well, dang, she's 21. She actually could have.
21 now.
Right.
She can hang out with you. Yeah.
She can come hang out with me. And so I have to wrap my head around that whole thing.
Wrap your head around that.
I got to wrap my head around that. I could actually literally party with my daughter.
And Artisa was telling me about a book that she deals with some of her clients with. It's called Doing Life with Your Adult Children. It's by Jim Burns.
Okay.
Yeah, the book is called Doing Life with Your Adult Children by Jim Burns.
Thank you, Artisha.
And it's called Keep Your Mouth Shut and the Welcome Mat Out. Jim Burns a fool. It's a Christian book. She says it's a Christian book. So, you know, it's definitely Christian-based guidance and information. Thank you, honey. Appreciate that. That's some good information for the people.
Very good.
To, you know, because, you know, we got children that is, you know, they're in transition like you, T. So we got some transitioners. And it is, you know, what is those barriers? How do you unleash more while they're getting freedom where they're still respectful?
Right.
You know, at the same time, like, where's that level of hold back, and then, you know, you're going into adulthood, and then it's like how much of the respect and that you're going to show versus what you're able to get away with and do just on your own, because you're an adult, it's like, oh man, they're an adult. I'm gonna let you know that's their thing. They're an adult, and then it's like, where's those lines that you're saying as yourself as a parent, like respect and they're an adult, so I can't say nothing, or I shouldn't say nothing.
Right. Like I always say, like you know, respectfully, this is what I think. And you change. Like when she was younger, it's like mom and dad. Now it's like mother. Seriously? Okay, come on, mom, mother. You know, and then one time she said, Tamika. I was upstairs. She said, Tamika. And then I said, what? Who's calling me Tamika? Who's at the house? And she said, oh, mom. And I'm like, oh, right. So what I think is happening is now, you know, she's learning, which I really appreciate. And I didn't notice this with my mother. The dynamics change. I was a mother. That's like a superhero to them. That's what you are, is mom. Now I'm Tamika.
Right.
Now she literally
Uh-huh.
will come to the room and want to know everything about me.
Mm.
Hey, hi, Miss Jackson.
But
She literally would
you don't
ask,
want to know
just
about moms. You want to know more about Tamika.
she wants to know about Tamika and Anthony in school. She wants to know about
Right.
us, our relationship. She wants to know, tell me stories, tell me some things about you all. So I started just writing them down. I was like, let me just write everything down for her, just anything I can think about, because she's hungry for who is Tamika. Why? Because then that lets me know sort of who she's going to be, right? That lets her know who I will probably because of genetics, your environment, who you're around, what you're around. That's who I might be. That's who I'm turned. You know what I mean? Of course, I'll be my own self, but I want to know who you are. What are some things that you've done? What are some mistakes that have happened? What have you learned from those mistakes? What would you do differently? What do you think I should do? She'll ask me all kind of questions. This happened with my friends. What do you think we should do? I was on the phone with her and her all 21-year-old friends, and they were like, really? And so what else? And so what else? And I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to my daughter and her friends about things that 5 or so years ago I'd be like, but she wants to know. She wants to know who I am. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's deep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to have that dynamic. Now, what you probably just said, you should always try to learn from your family members' mistakes before you.
Probably before you make them, he meant to say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You hope that you can kind of instill some of those things. Sometimes you have to go through some of them yourself.
Right.
But ideally, you would hope that you look at somebody and touch the hot stove and it was hot. You don't go over there and be like, oh, I'm gonna touch it too. See if it's hot to me. But some people, they have to go through that process in order to learn.
To learn. Those are the middle children, like myself.
Those are the middle kids. Yeah,
I think the middle kid. You're middle. You are or no?
Yeah, I'm a middle kid.
So do you agree? We kind of want to go and see how hot it is. I don't know if we're gonna touch it all the way, but we're not scared. The middle,
Yeah, I
don't know.
Well, nah, our dynamics was different because my youngest brother was more of a daredevil than anything. He was way more of a daredevil than me. Yeah,
really?
My younger brother than me. Yeah, he was definitely way more. He way more than me. Like, yeah, he was way more than me. No comparison. But I still
was he
did.
Spoiled? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I would say my mama gonna say it wasn't. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say me and my older sister would say that he was.
So there was no consequences. That's why. Yeah, that's why he did.
He didn't have any consequences. He was the last one. It's that last one concept. The last one concept.
Whatever.
I think parents, they'd be like, you know what? I don't think it's like whatever. It's like I want to be softer now. Like I've been so hard all this time on them. Let me be a little softer on this last one. Let me
so they turn into like how grandparents are. When because I don't recognize my mother-in-law. I'm like, who is this woman when she's around the grandchildren? I don't know your mother, Anthony. This is not the same mother we came up on. That's not the same mother my 14-year-old self knew. So
what they say, y'all let them get away with murder.
Y'all let them get away with murder.
Y'all let them get away with murder now. That was what my dad had told my grandma, his mom, about us, like the stuff that we was doing. We'll be over there playing, and we'll playing around too much. You end up breaking something. We get in trouble. You get whoopings and stuff. My dad never got whoopings and stuff for that. Oh, them baby, they just over there playing. Let them alone. It's all right. We can buy another. That my grandma like that. And my dad look at her and be like, man, you tore our butts up for doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
And so, they change. They change over time.
Wow.
Now, what Maria say?
She said that you can have the best parents in the world, but some kids don't listen, and that is very true. Very,
Man, that
very
is
true. I'm
true.
saying that. Yeah,
That is
unfortunately,
true,
but
Maria.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. You can have the
right?
best parents in the world, and it's kids that had great parents, and they decide to go to the streets. They decide to go and game bang and do all this other type of stuff because, again, kids are still their own person. You can give them guardrails. You can give them some of them. They gotta break through and do their own thing and figure out. They have the old saying, a hard head make a soft behind. Um,
Hmm.
that hopefully that they'll come back and from their teaching and their learning that they've learned, that
Yep.
they will be able to come back to the understanding that, hey, what you doing and what your foundation is, and that
I
you can
just thought
come back
about
to
that.
that foundation at
Yep.
some
I
point.
was just thinking that
But some
they
people they
always.
don't. They
You don't think that people will ever. You don't think that people have the ability to go back to the foundation, especially when they have good parents. I was just thinking that you will probably come back to that foundation. Even if you go all the
I,
way out, you done everything, you on crack, everything.
mhm.
If you have the ability to reform, I think you do kind of go back. Now you may have lost a lot, but I think if there's a foundation, I think that you do go back. So it's never a bad idea to be a good parent. It's always a great idea, no matter who the child is and what they're doing, to continue to be a good parent to that person. Because like you said, it's a human, and they have to develop in the way that they're going to develop. You know.
Yeah, you have to. And
Mhm.
if that kid decide that they're going to go down a certain route, you got to just be, you know, you have to have your standards of whatever you're holding them to, that you've instilled in them and that they have, and then hopefully that they have time to come back and realize that everybody don't get the opportunity to have
No.
that chance to come back and being able to rectify that.
Right.
um so taking it, not taking that for granted either, that you
Yeah.
got all this time in the world to be able to um rectify whatever you've done, or rectify whatever, or the rebellious part of what you've been taught. Because you have some people, like we were kind of saying earlier, some of them don't have anybody.
Right.
And so when you've always had, and we'll talk about this all the time, which is hilarious, man, that we've gone down this road in this conversation, is that your children only know what they have. Like, if we can give our comparison about what we had when we were growing up, what we didn't have, and everything that we're giving them, and all the stuff that they're blessed with, and the great positions and stuff that they're in, but they have no idea how we lived, you know what I mean, and the thing that they didn't walk in those shoes, so they're only
Right.
in the shoes that they're in at the present moment, and they're only going
Hmm.
to be able to really realize it and appreciate it when they get older.
When they get it. Yep. And when they
When
get
they
out
get
there in the
older,
world. Yeah.
yeah. Because I know I
Yep.
did. I talked to my mom and my dad, and I was like, man, a lot of the stuff that they taught me and they did, stuff that I didn't like, things that I embraced, some things that I let shrug off my shoulder, things that I kind of ignored, but it was still in the back of my head. Some things, even sayings and stuff that was put into me and stuff that they would say, like, oh, that's what that means. You know, dang, okay, that's what they were trying to get me to see. Um, and then you grow a whole nother appreciation. So
Hmm.
I always say, just be like how you were saying earlier, T. Just be the best parent that you can be, and then
Hmm.
own up to the mistakes that you've had as well. Like,
Yeah.
being a parent, because we are not perfect parents, man. Like, no parent is a perfect parent. No
Right.
person is a perfect person.
Perfect
So there's
person.
so there's no way we can be perfect parents. And so if
No.
we make mistakes, being okay to apologize, being okay as parents, although it's your child, it's okay to apologize to your child.
Right.
when you realize that, hey, you know, hey, I was wrong for that, or
Right.
you know, I shouldn't have reacted that way, or I probably could have came at them in a different way. And sometimes just that apology can go a long way. And
Yeah.
being stubborn sometimes is prayer, because I know I could be, and realizing that portion and saying, okay, you know what, sometimes I need to, oh, maybe I could have done that better, and then being able to go and sit down and have that conversation. And you know, that's appreciative as well. My daughter had mentioned something to me a while back, and it was refreshing to hear, because she was like, I gotta talk to you about something. And I was like, okay, what do you want to talk to me about? She said, now you said I can come to you about anything, right? And so everything in me. Yeah, I got nervous in the morning. So I was like, yeah, baby. I said, yeah, you know. I said, I'm glad that you feel comfortable that you can come to me about anything, you know. And so those portions of parenting just fluctuate so much that it's a beautiful thing if you're able to hone in those relationships, and being able to have some open dialogue and those and things like that. So that was a great comment, Maria. Great comment.
You know, and it's good that your daughter trusts you, you know, to come to you and talk to you, and she trusts that she's safe. And that's a beautiful thing, because then that builds an environment where she's looking for those not skills. She's looking for that in a man when she gets older. Mm-hmm. When he's not providing safety, she immediately knows what that feels like. She's like, this is not feeling safe. I know, because my father made me feel safe. Safety feels like mm-hmm. this, blah, blah, blah. If somebody's not checking off those points, she knows that if that's a standard mm-hmm. that she has, that this is not the person for me, because I don't feel safe. They may be the person for somebody else who didn't have a father like mine, but I could come to my father and ask him anything and talk about anything. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel like I would be judged or, you know, abandoned, or I don't know, asked to not ask me certain questions because I'm the father. So that opening mm-hmm. up that safety is great. You know, right. And telling your daughters that they're beautiful 1,000,000 times.
That's so important. And so, that is so right? important.
That and so, so when a man says, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, I love your smile," she already knows. I know that already. You're not. You can say that to somebody who don't hear that already. I've been born on that. Tell me now. I'm looking for something else. Now tell mm-hmm. me about who I am and what my personality. If you can't tell me who I am, y'all know you don't know me. It's just surface level. If you're on the surface, you're not a person for me. If I was looking for a person, I have
those conversations even right? with those kids. Like when we go talk to high schoolers and stuff that are dating. Like when I have conversation with them about dating, like, hey man, y'all dating and stuff. Or something, yeah, you know, I got a girlfriend. She said, oh yeah, I got a boyfriend and stuff like that. Now, I'll always ask these questions. They're very simple questions that I'll ask them, and I'll make their mind start thinking. I said, it's cool that y'all got girlfriends and boyfriends. Great, y'all like them, cool. And I'm like, I said, so what did your boyfriend or your girlfriend want to be when they grow up?
Right.
I don't know. Why you don't know that? Like what y'all together for?
Right.
You don't know what that person wants to be, then you should be assisting or helping or encouraging that person that you're calling a boyfriend and girlfriend. You got to look at the dynamics of a relationship. Y'all just liking each other because y'all look good. Your hormones is popping and, you know, all that type of stuff. But what is the substance from the relationship? What does that person want to be? What they want to be when they grow up? What school they want to go into? What trade do they want to take up? You know, what certificates do they want to go after? What are they looking to go to school? Are they looking to, you know, go into a particular career or job? You know, do they want to work in a warehouse? Do they want to become a doctor? They want to be, you know, what is it that they want to do? Whatever they want to do, whether mm-hmm. it's working in a warehouse or becoming a doctor, encouraging them in whatever space that's in.
Right.
And then that person should know what you want to do. So then
Right.
they are encouraging you as well. Like staying on top of your studies. Y'all should be knowing, do y'all study together? Or y'all just googly eyeing and texting each other? Are y'all making sure each other's is on top of y'all grades? I like,
Right.
this is what love should look like for y'all.
Yeah.
Because now
But
that
for the
person
young
showing
people,
they
it's
care enough.
hormone. Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's all
led a
hormones.
lot.
But
It's led a lot by hormones.
It gets their thinking going.
It's very good.
And then when they
Yeah.
come back, it's funny because they'll come back to me. They was like, Mr. Jackson, I know they want to be da-da-da. And so it starts to make them be more conscious about how they're interacting with their person. Because now you become, especially if you talk about you a boyfriend or girlfriend, you become a more standout person to them.
Mhm.
Because now you talking about stuff that these other girls, or if it's the vice versa, these other boys ain't talking about.
Right. Yeah.
They're not presenting what you're talking about now. So you put yourself in a whole different stratosphere when it comes to having a good conversation.
That's excellent.
Marla said, what she said?
I learned raising you have to be very cautious of the friends they're around. Peer pressure is real. I learned probably raising her youth or raising her child that, she learned that you have to be very cautious of the friends that they're around. Yeah. Peer pressure is real. And that is very true. That is very, very true.
That at one point, so what's your thoughts on this, T? At one point, does the parent, the influence of friends starts to weigh a little bit more than the parent? Have you ever seen that dynamic where it's like the friends influence and what they like to do or what they, it starts to kind of, hey, we are in this lane, is like, y'all, we the old people now. And
right.
we used to be cool.
Now we're not cool no more. Yeah.
We ain't
I think
cool
that starts in my experience, high school. So maybe like juniors, I'll say sophomore, junior year of high school, about sophomore. Yeah, about 15, 16. I think that starts, that peer pressure. But I've heard that's starting now in grammar school. We call it grammar school in Chicago. 7th to 8th grade. Yeah. That 6th, 7th, 8th grade, that there's a lot of peer pressure. And a lot of those young men and women are having relations that young.
They're getting it in. Yeah.
Okay. I thought
people being clapped. There's all types of stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to confirm that because I did hear that was happening.
Yeah.
But I think in high school for sure is
I've
where
talked to middle
there's
school principals. Man.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've been having to have some type of sex education type stuff.
Right.
It's gotten so bad that people, of course, kids are getting pregnant, you got STDs and stuff that was going around. They started to try to figure out, hey man, they're doing these things. We need some type of, contraceptives, that's going to be able to help prevent some of these things from happening. So that was a huge thing on especially some of the school sites that were having kids that were having babies and stuff. And so it's a real thing. That's a real thing, T. That's a real thing, like that you brought up. Like it's even going down to middle school that are engaging like college students. Like they
right. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like college students, man.
And you got to be careful because that herpes, it'll go around fast. It's a skin condition, STI. So skin to skin. You can sometimes even wear protection. And if you have any part of your skin that's exposed and you touch somebody's skin that's not exposed or not going through, what do they call it? If you're not having an outbreak, you can have an outbreak, have something exposed, touch somebody's skin, even with protection, and now they have it. Herpes. So that's crazy. Then there's syphilis here in Kern County. And I think I talked before about HIV. Kern County was like #1 in the state for new HIV cases. That is scary. And like,
that
you
is
know,
crazy scary.
yeah. Herpes is like
That is
the
crazy.
gateway sexually transmitted disease for HIV. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on.
It's a lot.
I would say
Now,
protect yourself. You
Dwayne,
gotta make good choices. A
Big
lot of
time.
us get Dwayne says that a lot of us get softer as we age. Dare I say my mom and dad was way softer on the younger child. And grandchildren do not get paddles from grandma nowadays. Right. What's that about, Dwayne? Yeah, you know about the paddles?
Yeah,
Right.
kids don't even know what a paddle look like.
They don't know what a paddle look like. Only paddle my daughter knows when she became a member of her sorority, and they made a paddle and put her name
paddle
on it.
for it.
Yeah, they made a paddle for her.
They think a paddle's cool nowadays. Back in the day, a paddle wasn't cool.
She hanging it up in her room. I go in the room like having flashbacks.
Yeah, they don't know what a switch look like.
Mm-mm.
Get them switches off the trees, get them branches, lace them together. Boy, listen, they don't know nothing about that.
I'm joking. I want my father to see this show and be like, I ain't use no paddle now. I might have used the belt.
They had the paddles with the holes in them where they could catch the meat.
Catch that, and then you get
booty.
those 3 little circles on your booty. Yeah.
I
had friends who got spankings with they call them whoopings with the paddles. Yeah. How do you get those holes in them? So do you think they make those themselves?
Yeah, I think they made them. I think they made them like that. Y'all tell me. I don't know. We got some OGs on here. One of y'all know. You know, you got to find out what's going on. You got to be cautious. And Mama Jackson said, and all you're doing, do a lot of praying.
Yeah.
Do a lot of praying. And Maria concurred with that and said that, yep, I pray all the time, and my kids are grown with kids and grandkids. So she praying for the kids and the grandchildren. She praying for her lineage. And we go pray for your lineage. Pray for the lineage that's going down.
Man, I love it.
Now, read this to you.
So all I know is once that young man started whispering in that ear, they seem to forget all you said to them to prepare them, the parents. His whisper drowns out the parents' voice. Shoot.
Wow.
That happened to some 40, 50-year-olds too. Shoot.
Come on.
You don't know nothing else after that.
Man, everything go bliggity blank, bliggity blank, bliggity blank.
He start talking right.
Man. And then it's man. Wow. So that was what was going on. Everything was just drowned out. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Yeah. And then try to make sure that they're around environments that are safe. Bobby even said peer pressure is everywhere, even with adults.
Yep. Very true.
Yeah, that is majorly true. That is majorly true. Like you got so many people that's peer pressure.
Yeah. Some people will make you forget everything you were taught. That's for sure. Sure. Some people are professionals at this game. So
yeah,
they need to put sex education back in the schools like I had. Very true. Well, Patrick, you said that they're putting programs into the grade schools now, right? The grammar school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade workshops.
I said that they were having conversations on bringing Well, some of the people were trying to make sure that they were getting access to some of the contraceptives because they knew that they were active, and then they were relaying that they were. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I know they, of course, I think they do in high school. I'm not sure what they're doing in the middle schools when it comes to that.
Okay.
But it's definitely needed because it's already happening before they even get to high school. Like they're already exposed to it. You know, the internet and everything exposed. They and their elementary kids now, so they have access to so much stuff that stuff in sites and stuff that could be blocked. They could be in the ads and stuff, even in apps, is crazy. Like they could be playing innocent games and they have these ads and stuff that's popping up that's sexually motivated and all that type of stuff that we as parents have to be aware of. They can download an ABC game and then it could mean arch your back and crawl. I don't know. It could be something stupid. You know what I mean? Like for real. It some crazy stuff and then they got ads and stuff popping up, and then
the women are half dressed, the boys are already curious, and then they get to see. I think they get exposed too early to the TNA.
Right.
So, then they want to see it in real life. Then it's some little 7th grade girl who, I guess he starts whispering in her ear, and there it goes. Everything her mom and daddy says out the window. Out the window.
Mama Jackson has a good question, comment. Go ahead and read that, T.
Okay, Mama Jackson. She says, have you ever had a friend whose household was not strict, but yours was, and they tried to bring that same energy to their house that did not have rules? Then mom and dad, who had rules, had to bring that child back to reality. Yes. That happens way too often. Yep. Especially when you
try to bring that in.
Right. Yeah. Especially when you send your child around other people's children, or like my daughter went to college. So you're around different, people. They were raised different. So, they're raised different. And that does happen. I think I've always said a good apple really does not influence a bad apple, but a bad apple influences the whole bunch. Once the apple goes bad on a tree, everything's rotten. A good apple is not going to go and sit next to a rotten apple, and that rotten apple becomes good. So I had to give my daughter that lesson, or at least tell her to look out for that. And of course, she could be a bad apple. I don't know, like we said, we send them in the world, they become their own person. The way I measure it is measure what I've done and how well a job me and Anthony have done is that when people come back to me, because they'll come back, you hear little whispers, and they actually tell you, that's the best part of parenting. When someone tells you how great a job you've done with your daughter or son, when they say, oh, they're very respectful, they've done this and that, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I measure how well I've done when I send her out into the world. But yes, that does happen. And the only thing we can do is just let them know, there are spoiled apples. You sometimes will be around people who are not like you. That doesn't mean just because they're a spoiled apple, they're going to be doing things you don't do. Your influence is only going to go so far before you crack. Yep. And that's so you have to take yourself out of situations. And that's what adults do.
You got to remove yourself.
That's what married people single. How far can I go before I crack? So you have to know. Now we're back to choices. You make those choices. Ooh. Bad apples will spoil you. You don't want to be rotten. If you're not rotten, don't get rotten hanging around bad apples.
Right.
There's a lot of good apples out here.
We'll have those conversations with our kids as well. Just, some of the kids making choices. And it's been very interesting seeing like them make some choices, like our kids make some choices, and then the kids that they were around or was around, they were making certain choices like, oh no, I can't hang around them no more. or
Right.
nah, I can't be around them because they're starting to do these type of activities, and I don't want to be a part of that. And so even them coming in and identifying and also being open to come and have a conversation with us, like it's very rewarding to hear those type of things that are going on instead of them having interest in participating, being like, y'all, man, I ain't trying to be a part of that. Like, nah, we need to go. Yeah, I can't be friends with them no more. And then being able to get some advice or just, coming to have the conversation, knowing that they're wanting some advice, that they've already made a decision, but even wanting to just have that conversation about, yo, this friend is doing, they gotten into drugs or,
Right.
they're doing these other activities that, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in being a part of. So it's like,
Right.
that's still something that them as an individual is making. It's not, oh, the parent, us as the parent, we're making that, oh, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be hanging around that friend. It's them making that choice as an individual saying, oh, man, I don't want to be around them doing that. Like they doing some crazy stuff. Like that's crazy. Like they doing way crazy stuff. So I can't be around them.
That's the goal. You can't let people who don't care about themselves, who's out there ruining themselves, ruin you. So that is the goal.
Right. But
So
sis said,
oh, you got it?
Oh, go ahead. You got
Okay.
it too.
She says, not just on apps, but some of these parents expose their children to those types of things, letting them see them dance seductively and allowing them to mimic them, thinking it's cute. Ooh, that's an old school word. I know what that word means. Letting them be a part of adult conversations, being half naked around them and dressing them up half naked, and etc. If we had a microphone,
boom,
drop the mic on everything.
Boom. Yeah, that was a lot of that was a mouthful.
That's a whole lot, like period. As the young people say, I don't even know where to start. But right, you think your actions are cute as an adult, and sometimes you're doing things and you don't know your daughters are watching you. They're watching who you date. They're watching how you date. Your sons are watching how you what you do with women, what you think about women, if you're juggling women, and they will mimic you. That's why they watch you. I've caught my daughter, like we were sitting at a restaurant and she was just watching me, just, looking. And she was saying, okay, how is she? What is she eating first? What is she doing? What's her posture like? And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's watching me. So I even was like, okay, let me sit up straight. Let me make sure I'm eating the salad with the salad fork. I'm doing, because she was just sitting looking at me. They watch you. They listen.
Yeah.
And they mimic you. Yeah.
They definitely mimic the heck out of you. Like you will find yourself doing things and having mannerisms and stuff like that. Cause I'll catch myself doing stuff like my pops all the time. That you have picked up on, and it's part of the way that you present yourself, the way that you do, and the way your movements, your mannerisms, stuff like that. And it's been passed down from your interactions and how you have conversations and how you may deal with things, or I'll find myself in many situations just mimicking my pops in different ways. So it's very true in every aspect. Like they're picking up stuff just as small, like how you were saying, just as small as your posture, how you eat. What are some of the things she likes? Because I think I might try to be like that. And, I might like that, because whatever it is that you are, and if they believe that you are somebody that they want to aspire to be, then you're going to naturally want to pick up those things that person has, which is typically your parent. And, most kids, if you have a good parent, you look up to your parents in some type of capacity. Some kids want to, they want to be their own person and stuff like that. And they want to we call it remix it, right? They want to be the remix version of you. You know, you're the
Right.
original, but then they want to put their own twist, but they're still gonna
Right.
have some of those foundational pieces of who you are
Right. Yeah.
because they picked it up from you.
I realized
So-
I realized by doing this show that I'm a lot like my mother in terms of being inquisitive, like questioning
Okay.
things. You know, as I think back, she was inquisitive, so she would ask us questions, and you needed to
Mhm.
have an answer and a thought
Right.
out answer. So
I thought out.
it's like, if I really think about it, I could come to tears to think about what God does in your life and how he makes things full circle. You know, because I remember I told
Okay.
you, oh no, I can't do it. I'm too shy. But I've been doing this my whole life, answering questions, at seeing how it's done, how you ask a question and the reason behind it, you know, and sometimes it's
Mhm.
loving, sometimes it's because you want to place things in a different box, or want to know how to approach things. But yeah, you know, so I appreciate that. But I really liked her, what she said about that, and I hope it changes.
Mhm.
So Marie
I'll be
says, Patrick Jackson, now that's great. The child made the call. Patrick Jackson Jr., now that's great. The child made the call.
Oh, she was talking about the comment from earlier
Which part? Okay.
about the child making the decision not to do something with their friends. Like it was them making the decision and not the parent telling them, like, hey, you shouldn't be hanging around that person, but the kid making that
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great. So whether good or bad, news of your son or daughter's behavior always finds its way back to the parents. That's right.
Yep.
Dwayne.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very
I done
true.
had bad news. I done had good news. I done had
Yeah.
them both come back in
Yeah.
ways, and you know, and it's okay. The bad is okay too, because that's some time for correction, time
Right.
to have a conversation and dialogue about, you know, what happened. And it's like, yo, you know, you got, it's a family of people out here watching you, so you got to conduct yourself
It's a village.
a certain
There's
way
still
at
a
all
village in
times.
some
So
places.
you got a village
Yeah.
out here. You got a village out here. So
That's
you
it.
got to watch what you're doing.
I'm loving the
That's a
comments
good
tonight.
point, D. That's a really
Yeah.
good point, D.
Kids
He
watch
said,
what you
kids,
do.
go ahead, T.
Yeah, kids watch what you do more than what you say to them. You can't just talk the talk. You have to walk the walk. I love it.
Yes.
You got it?
We know that all too well. Brother said, amen. Listen, we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. It's been a great conversation. Excellent conversation.
Thanks,
Again,
so
if you
good.
guys want to win tickets to RM Bingo, that is happening tomorrow night. RM Bingo is happening.
Who's the host? Who's hosting
tomorrow.
RM Bingo tomorrow night?
Me.
Patrick Jackson.
That's me. Yeah. I'll be hosting RM Bingo. Miss Bianca is putting on another RM Bingo night. Music by
Queen B.
Miss DJ Ash B.
Okay.
It's $25. You'll be able to win up to prizes to $500 for bingo night. And it's knowing your songs, knowing your different R&B songs is a cool, chill
It's
vibe.
fun. Yeah.
You can bring the luau outfits and vibes. So come on and dress in your luau fits and bring that vibe to the table. We'll also have some great food by Miss Sabrina Morris. She'll be having some great food out there. There'll be a nacho bar as well. So come out, have a great time. It's going to be at the Jazz Spot, 1410 Bible Road. If you guys are wanting free ticket, again, continue to make sure that you get in these comments and share the video. Share the video to your page. You'll get a chance to win some tickets. I will make the announcement in the morning of who will win tickets to RM Bingo night that is happening tomorrow night. Before that event that is going on tomorrow night, I'll also be sitting down with Larry Winters. We'll be on a Zoom call. I'll be posting that as well, the Zoom link and everything for that. We'll be having an empowerment conversation on life strategies and how to empower yourself through life. So we're going to have a great discussion on that as well. And then lastly, but not least, also later on, give you guys a heads up, we will have some more free tickets giveaway to the Grown and Sexy Comedy Explosion that's happening July the 19th at Legends, put on by CMAC Production. So again, man, continue to lock in with us, man. We always having something good, fun, exciting that is going on. We appreciate y'all for continuing to tune in. Tell them how they can get in touch with you, T.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Patrick. Thank you so much. So you can get in contact with me at t.franklin@yahoo.com.
And of course, it's your man, Patrick the Game Changer Jackson here. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Yes.
Again, we always have a great conversation, man. And continue to stay locked in with me. Hit me up on all the social media, Patrick Jackson Jr., PJ Game Changer on Instagram. And of course, all of the platform, the Game Changer Show, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That's right. Make sure it's up. We appreciate y'all for always tuning in, having a good time, having a good discussion, staying locked in with us. We out.